What up, fam? Chief X at you, the God Best, reincarnated with some more of this common sense science. See, some of y'all think I don't claim God Best no more. I'm still the God Best, right? I'm still best. Check it out, family. I'm talking to people in general, but specifically these RBGs and black supremacists and so-called black nationalists, right? I'm speaking to you right now. I'm not like you. Don't get it twisted. Chief X is an individual. I don't do the groupthink behavior. Groupthink is when you try to be down and get along with everybody so you won't be an outcast. So you don't want people to think you think outside the box and differently than them, and they label you an outcast. I don't do groupthink. I'm an individual, and I'm a free thinker. I don't give a shit what you niggas believe in and represent and promote and push. If I don't agree with it, I don't do it. That's Chief X. Let me let you know something. I'm not a racist like these other cats. I have no problem saying I love everybody. I love humans. I love all races. I judge people on an individual basis. I don't group people all together. I judge people on an individual basis. There's good white folk, there's bad white folk. There's good black folk, there's bad black folk. And that's in every fucking race. There's good Chinese folk, there's bad Chinese folk. It's not no global monolith. I'm not no racist like you. I'm not no black supremacist. I'm not no black nationalist. I love multiculturalism. I don't want to segregate, separate. I've changed a lot of ways I'm thinking. I don't want to do none of that. I want to be able to leave my house and go to the Chinese food spot and eat some Chinese food. If I want some Mediterranean food, I want to drive to the spot and get some Mediterranean food, some Greek food. If I want some soul food, I want to get some soul food. I like multiculturalism. I'm not no racist. I don't like rabid racists, though, because they're bad for America. Whether you're racist white or racist black, you both suck and are bad for America. Now, people say, hey, Chief X, I may have said a few things maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, but you can't go find me being racist up and down my timeline. I'm not like you. I'm an individual. You don't see me bashing religion. You don't see me bashing gays, and you don't see me spewing racist nonsense. You can't go down my timeline and find me bashing gays and sweating and tripping on people because of their sexual orientation. One of my daughters is gay. What do I look like as a father who loves his child, sitting up here on the internet, on Facebook, bashing gay people and clowning gay people when my daughter's gay? What if she looked at my social media and just seen me bashing gays? She would have resentments for her daddy. I'm not trying to be a piece of shit father, hurt my children's feelings, put distance between me and my children. A lot of y'all got gay kids. A lot of you black so-called got gay children. And your children is reading your bullshit and developing resentments. They may not say nothing to you. I know this one dude named Uncle Suge. Piece of shit. Bonafide piece of shit. He be bashing gays, making video clips and doing all kind of wild ass shit. And his son is full-blown feminine type of male. And I had to sit back and think about it. I said, no wonder he doesn't have a relationship with his son. No wonder his son is distant from him. Just imagine his son looks at his YouTube and all he sees is his son making video clips and teasing and clowning gay people and shit. His son hates his ass, I'm sure. You don't find me bashing religion. Now, I may make a joke or two every now and then, but I don't sweat nobody for their religious belief. Now, what I do is have intellectual discussions if you want to come at me and if we want to talk about some reality in history, because sometimes history and religious literature clash, and we got to hash it out in a discussion. If you tell me the 12 tribes of Israel, this and this and that, and we come from the 12 tribes, then I want to talk about history and say, no, we don't come from the 12 tribes of Israel. This is that, this is that. That's not bashing religion. So I just don't outright bash religion. I don't sweat people for their religion and belief systems, and I don't clown people for their belief, for their religion. Now, I may clown people for certain fringe beliefs, but I don't bash people for whatever their religion is. You understand me? So you don't see Chief X bashing Christianity. You don't see me bashing gays and clowning and acting a fool like these other niggas. You don't see me with no rabbit racist shit nowhere. I'm not like you. I just want to make that shit clear. Because sometimes people say, oh, Chief X, you've changed. You different. It's called growth. It's called mentally evolving for the better, not for the worse. So, people wanted to argue with me and was talking about white nationalists. All these white supremacists. I said, well, what do you think a black nationalist is? And I'm thinking, what's wrong with the country? I mean, I thought they knew this. I said, what a black nationalist is a black supremacist. They go hand in hand. So I'm like, people thought just white nationalists was racist. No, black nationalists was racist. When they used to kick that black nationalism talk, guess who used to do that? Nation of Islam first. We want separation. We want a separate nation. Nationality. Nation. Nationalism. We want a separate nation. We want to remove ourselves from amongst these people. And they use terminology as the white man is the devil and the black man is God. That's called black supremacy because you feel like you're God, which is superior than the devil. So if you're a black nationalist, you're a black supremacist. If you're a white nationalist, you're a white supremacist. Now, I had to break it down because we use these terms sometimes and be confused as fuck. A lot of times we have these cute phrases we just take on and keep from back in the day and never really think about it and what it really means. Now, how can you be a black nationalist in reality? I know what white nationalist means. They represent being down with America and their nation. What nation does a black nationalist represent? You're an American citizen. You're a black American. So when you say black nationalist, are you saying you support America and I'm for America, my nation? Because you can't. And it's impossible to have a nation within a nation. That's not reality. That's fantasy land talk. If you're in the United States of America, you're under the jurisdiction of the rules and regulations of the United States of America. You can have no separate nation. A nation is a nation, and nations are set already. This is not the 1300s where you can jump off a new nation and just take over some land and start a new nation. It's over. White folk won that war. Let's just be honest. They won that war and conquered this land and took over and set up a government and running it now. And there's nothing nobody can do to change that ever. You have to have acceptance. You're a black American. Now, one thing you can only do is people can move to somewhere and go to an unincorporated area and incorporate that area and set up systems there. That's what you can do. But nobody talks about that because they're clueless. Yeah, you can. What was that coat with the Indian man? They moved to a area and incorporated and bought up and built the area up, and they incorporated their city. Y'all don't ever talk about that. So, you're not going nowhere. You're not even visiting another country. If you repatriated, you would be living under the laws and rules of another nation that you repatriated to. If you move to Cuba, then you're under the Cuban regime in their nation. There's no starting a new nation. This is why I say you got to update your mind to 2022. You can't have your mind and having discussions when your mindset is in 1950 or 1960. And you're parroting old jargon and phrases that you never really understood or stepped back and said, let me break this down. What is a black nationalist compared to a white nationalist? You never really thought about it and broke it down. There is no such thing, really, or you can't be a black nationalist, really, in 2022. It's a cute-sounding phrase that had its time. Unless you're saying, hey, we want to incorporate an area and and we nationals and we proud of being black Americans. Yeah. So you have to come to acceptance that you are an American. Through and through, to the core. Also, let me add this. All these phrases like, I have an Afrocentric worldview or an African-centered worldview. How? You've never even been to Africa. You were born, bred, and raised right here. You have a black American worldview, and it's impossible to have an Afrocentric or an African-centered worldview because you're not that. Like when people try to clown you, oh, he has a Eurocentric worldview. Nobody has a Eurocentric worldview. We're Americans. You can only have a black American worldview. All these phrases are old and played out. Because your mind isn't updated to 2022. You're in the past. Wasting time and wasting breath. A Kenyan can only have a Kenyan worldview. They can't have an American worldview. They can't have a Eurocentric worldview. They can't have nothing but they can only have a worldview from where they lived and where they were born and raised in their culture, looking at the world and their understanding of it. So I know it's cute that people say I got an Afrocentric worldview, I'm an African-centered worldview, but it's impossible. It's like a wishful thing. Just parroting what people said back in the day. So understand, no, I'm not like you. I'm an individual. I don't do groupthink. And that's why a lot of people are mad at me today and can't stand me today. But a lot of people love me. today too. People be saying, "Oh, ain't nobody paying attention to you, Chief X. You ain't nobody." Well, let's look at your page and it's definitely nobody paying attention to you. They paying attention to me more than they are you. So stop being envious and hating. It's just what it is. Look at my page and look at your page. And see who's paying attention to who. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? Yeah, so religion, homosexuality, and racism. I don't do all that pontificating and bashing of none of that shit. Rabid racism. I'm not. Racism sucks. You guys don't like racists, so why do you want to be a racist? Do you see how contradicting shit be? If you dislike racists, why do you want to become what you dislike? Why do you want to be what you dislike? Did you ever think about this with your little pea brain? I'm out.